Welcome to my second Japan vlog. Here we are on our way into the Edo Museum. It's actually incredibly cool. They had a lot of information on past sumo wrestlers in the beginning. We got to see a lot of different artworks from the Edo period and a real-life replica of an Edo period neighborhood, as well as comparing sushi from that period to now. It was much bigger back then, like fast food. And then we went to the underground tunnels for floodwaters, which was very cool. They showed us a replica of what it looks like underground. We could see the water that would run off of the streets into this area where it is funneled into a holding tank and then runs through pipes, which we later walked through, which was very cool, until it collects in another holding tank. It was so much larger than I was expecting, and never would have understood that if I had seen it just from an image online or in a textbook. It was very cool to see in person. And afterwards, we got some other traditional hibachi style dinner with Grant and Samaya, which was very delicious. This is us leaving the NYC compound for the last time in our little road procession and riding the rail back. And then this was our first bullet train. It was so much faster than I was expecting. Your ears actually pop when you go under the tunnels, which was pretty cool. We got to see a little bit more of the countryside, and all the different mountains, and the different style of housing. And then we went to an observation deck in Toyama with AK and Sylvia. And got another bullet train. I think I counted it over a trip. We went on over 12 bullet train rides, which was so awesome. Something I'd never done before. And here I think we're passing, I think this was one of the biggest, if not the biggest lake in Japan, which was pretty cool. We saw a lot of different rice paddy fields. It's really cool to see the difference of the population distribution with the neighborhoods compared to the U.S. It's much more concentrated there. As you can kind of see all the different roofs over the top of that fence. And then we got to see Ibaraki Prefecture, of course. Had to point that out. On our way to Hiroshima, that's the Peace Dome we just walked by on our first tour. It was raining pretty hard. This was inside the actual museum, was one of the toughest things that we visited for me, seeing the destruction and the lives that were lost. This was us at the station right outside. Hey, Heather. And then we had our student groups lead us around on the tour. They were very good. They had very good English for how old they were. And all of the peace cranes that were made, which was very cool, in front of the Children's Memorial. And this was on our way out of Hiroshima. Kind of got a view from the train again, at all the different businesses. And here we are on our way to Miyajima Island. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of the trip. It was so incredibly beautiful. That's the shrine that everyone's always talking about there. You can kind of get a good view of it. There we rode the ferry. And the deer there were sacred. So you're not supposed to touch them, but they definitely wanted to touch us and our food. Even followed Sylvia around with her pamphlet there. You can see. Did not want to leave her alone. They're very funny. They were much smaller than American deer as well, which was kind of interesting, something I wasn't expecting. But it was incredibly peaceful there. I really enjoyed it. We were only there for a short time, but definitely one of my most favorite parts of the trip. So much to do. Did some shopping and did some hiking as well. That's our view from the ferry. A lot of people looking out in the boat. And here we were. We made it to Kumamoto Prefecture. This was our bus ride to Kumamoto Castle, which is also one of my favorite parts of the trip. It took a minute to get up there because it was really high up on this hill, but we got a pretty unique perspective because of the restoration ongoing there. You can see the damage made by the earthquake there. So we were on these raised platforms on our way, walking into it. But pretty good view of the city from there. And we learned that they're replacing we're replacing each stone, to size, which is why it was taking so long. It's been 9 years since. Riding the bullet train out of Kumamoto up to Sendai when we had some fun on the train. One one of our group dinners there. We got unlimited food. Then we were walking around as a group. Took another bus ride on our way out of town. So incredibly beautiful and green. I want to go back already. We had such a good time. Here we are in Minamata, crossing the river. That made a lot of people sick. And then we got to have a bullet train pass us, which was just hitting you with this big wave of air. It was really cool. And Noda Sensei and Ibaraki Sensei took us out to dinner. It was so delicious. I've eaten my ramen noodles already. And then we went to Sendai and visited 2 of the schools there that got destroyed. This one, the evacuation went as planned and everyone survived, which is very cool. But we got a tour of a really good guide who took us around. There you can see, because they had a fire as well as a tsunami, it's pretty much destroyed. This was the Okawa Elementary School. The most tragic and hardest thing for me to see on this trip, learning about all that happened. Then we had our last night all together, group dinner. Here's Noda Sensei answering 20 questions. And we had our final dinner, and it was so delicious, and I'm just so thankful for this experience we had.